Hello, hello, and welcome into the PHNX Suns pregame show brought to you by our friends at the DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you know every time we are live. Tonight, it is the Suns and the Clippers, and we are here to get you ready. I'm Lindsey Smith, and I'm joined by Espo. Espo, how you doing this fine late evening?
I'm good. Ask me at post game how I'm doing, and we'll see. The morning started at 6 a.m. to take the little one to school, so we'll see how I'm doing at about 11:30 when we're wrapping this one up.
That's so early. Not to go off on a tangent, but I feel like kids start school way too early.
Well,
I'm just
she
saying.
doesn't have to be there till 8, but I have to get ready. Then I have to wake her ass up. Then I got to get her ready, get her in the car, drive her to school. Like there's so many. Usually I get ready in 15 minutes, but life takes on a whole different meaning when you got a 5-year-old. So
I believe it. I absolutely believe it. Well, let's get into some Suns talk here on the pregame show. So, as I mentioned, the Suns are taking on the Clippers tonight here in Phoenix at home. And they're still going to be without a lot of their star players. Thankfully, though, we can report that DeAndre and Jay Crowder and JaVale McGee are all out of health and safety protocols, but they are in a quote return to competition reconditioning program right now.
that's
So
the mode
Monty,
I'm always in. That's
right?
how I'm listed on the injury report always. So.
Man, I feel like I'm always day to day. Monty said pregame that, after seeing them kind of go through practice a little bit yesterday and trying to get some of that conditioning back, he had a conversation with his coaching staff, the training staff and the guys themselves, and they made the decision to keep them out for tonight's game just to ensure their health and make sure that they have the conditioning back to get back out there and not get injured, because we've already dealt with enough as far as the health and safety protocols go. The last thing we need is an injury on our hands for one of these three guys.
Well, yeah, especially something serious after you haven't played in as long as you have. And when you're looking at the Clippers roster too, it's not exactly the vaunted roster that they had last year going into the season. Multiple injuries on that front that make them less scary. So this is a game at home. You give you guys a little rest still to try to get back into it, and we'll see. I don't feel worried because the guys that you're missing, you've had so many fantastic performances to fill in for them. Our Cove crazies are joking that all centers all the time is the new strategy around here. And sure, I'm fine. Let's see a lineup of Jalen Smith and Bismack Biyombo, then JaVale McGee and DeAndre Ayton out there with Devin Booker. Let's see how horrible that could look. But I'm not worried because those guys have stepped up, have played very well, and this is another game for a chance. Mike B in the chat say Smith for first point. I actually took that tonight, and I had a 25% profit boost on that bad boy as well. And I took Devin Booker and Reggie Jackson to score over 25 points as well tonight on some 25% profit boost there as well. So having some fun on tonight's game as well.
I like that. I feel like those are some pretty good bets to make. So hopefully you hit big tonight and win a bunch of money to recover from Christmas. Because I mean, I know that you had a lot of DraftKings money headed in there, but now you got to get it all back after you
I
spent
was
it.
this close to going Eric Bledsoe first basket at plus 1100 because there may be a revenge game tonight, and I didn't do it. I didn't have the guts to do it.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like he's probably over it at this point. I would think,
I don't know.
I don't
He
know.
didn't want to be here at that salon, so we'll
Well,
see.
so the Suns are also still without Landry Shamet and the normal cast and crew who is out with injury. And then on the Clippers side, they also are dealing with a lot of injuries and health and safety protocols. I believe there are 6 guys who are out and then an additional 2 who were questionable coming into tonight's game. I won't list all of them, but it's quite a few. You got guys like Paul George, obviously, is one of them, who is a big difference maker for that team. So they're dealing with some things. Who isn't? But I want to answer a question or have this conversation. So Zenith in the chat said, which big will have the better game tonight? That's That's a good question. What do you think, Espa? I feel like I know which way you're going to go, but what do you
Well,
think?
look, let me preface this first. We are 13 followers away from 2,000 on the YouTube page here. Put it out on Twitter that if you guys get us to 2,000 before post game, I will go on a loquacious soliloquy about how amazing Jalen Smith is and why he deserves
Soliloquy.
20 plus minutes a game after in the post game show. If you get us over 2,000 by that post game show, I don't think you can do it. So I'm not scared that I'm gonna have to do that. But look, I think it's gonna be Bismack for a simple reason. He got that contract today, and he's feeling good. He knows that he's secure now. He's gonna go out there and he's gonna have himself a game.
Yeah, so per Woj, because the team hasn't quite made this official yet, and he kind of skirted the question this morning after shoot around, the Suns are adding Bismack Biyombo to the roster for the remainder of the season. But even though he did skirt around that particular question at shoot around, he said, there were a lot of teams that approached him and his people prior to him coming back into the NBA that they turned down. They passed on those other teams because he said, after the passing of my dad, I just really wanted the feelings to be right. He was looking to find a team that he just felt like the situation was right, the personnel was right, and that was going to be just a good fit for him, probably emotionally more than anything else, I would guess, being that is such a kind of traumatic experience, obviously losing a parent. And I just think that says so much about this team and this organization on the basketball side of things that this group of guys has really put together over there.
Well, we joked about Eric Bledsoe a few minutes ago, but what a far cry from those days where guys wanted out of Phoenix. Now they're going, you know what? I want to be a part of this. I want to come to Phoenix. I mean, hell, Chris Paul did that. He asked out of OKC and said, I want to go to Phoenix.
Yeah.
I mean, and now Bismack making that choice and obviously waiting for his opportunity to be here. I saw somebody on Twitter, and forgive me, I don't remember who it was, but said that he could be this year's Torrey Craig, and totally could see that energy guy that gets a few minutes, that has an impact, that may have to step up in the playoffs at some point due to injury or foul trouble or whatever the case may be. But it is refreshing to know that guys want to be in Phoenix, want to be part of that. And that is a testament to James Jones, to Monty Williams, and to Devin Booker and Chris Paul. I mean, to that four people there made things important, made things change, and feel like there's something special going on here in Phoenix.
I think I'm going to go with Bismack having the night as well, because he did secure the spot and he probably feels pretty comfortable with this group now, got a few games underneath his belt with this group. So he's probably feeling pretty good. Sticks, on the other hand, I hope he has a great night. I love what he's been doing lately, but I also think maybe there's a little extra pressure on him tonight because he knows how close the other guys are to coming back in and then having to fight more for that time out there on the court. So I wonder if maybe a little added pressure from that. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I hope not, though.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, we'll see if he presses it all, but I doubt that he will. By the way, Manuel in the chat says take your L, Espo. Well, guess what? Saul ain't here, so Saul don't get to say shit to me tonight. All right.
Facts. We kicked Saul out after that cheese conversation. I was like, I can't. Anyway.
Cheese, and then in post game that you missed, he was sitting there saying Jalen Smith is a power forward. So I don't know if he fell on his head or what, but we had to get him checked out, I think.
I mean, listen, there's so much conversation about that right now. I feel like my thoughts on it are, in theory, obviously him playing the 4 next to DeAndre Ayton would be fantastic. I think that's exactly the idea that the Suns had when they drafted him. But the things that he's been able to do games at the 5 aren't necessarily completely transferable to that 4 spot. So I don't know. And I would think that if he was capable of playing the 4 next to DeAndre Ayton at a high level, that Monty and that coaching staff would know better than us, and they would put him there. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that he can't, But currently, as it stands, I don't think it's worth taking the risk to try and figure that out and develop that, especially with the
Yeah.
fact that we didn't pick up his option. But even if we had, I still don't know if it's worth the risk this year.
Yeah, and people are like, oh, he isn't at the minutes in games to play the four. Yeah, I'm guessing they see him in practice though too. Like, there's other ways that they look at these guys to judge them. I know Monty said in pregame that when these guys come back, Jalen may see time at the four, but I think that's
Mm-hmm.
strictly because there's going to be no minutes at the five. Where will there? I mean, you're going to play Aiton, you're going to play JaVale, and Bismarck is going to play based on the way he's been playing and the fact that you signed him for the full year. So
Mm-hmm.
there's no minutes left at the five. So the only way he's going to see the court is at the four. And like I said to Saul the other night, I'd much rather see Mikal and Cam and Jay get those minutes than Smith at that spot.
I would say, if this was 3 years ago and they had Jalen and the hopes of him playing at the four, I 100% would be like, throw him out there, let him figure it out. Let's see if this is doable. I'm all on board. But I think just with the way that this team is built, with the aspirations this team has, I don't want to risk ruining a good thing, right? And that's unfortunate, mostly for Sticks himself, because had he been on a different team or gotten to this team a couple years ago, that opportunity would have been readily available for him. And it would be great for him to figure out if that is something he can do in the NBA at this level, or if the five is just his natural position and he needs to stick there.
Yeah.
But it just is what it is. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. If we're talking, the days, 3 years ago, it's different. You throw them out there, you
mhm.
figure it out. But right now, you can't do that. That's just not what this roster is built for. And again, I made this point before, but I think this is where not having your own G League team really is a disservice, because you can't get that guy minutes at the four during the season in your own system, and it's a shame. So it is what it is. On
Yep.
on to on to the game in front of us here.
Yes. But I will say, while he is getting these opportunities and these minutes, I'm going to cheer him on just as much as I would any other guy on this team, because I still want to see him succeed.
L-
With that,
Lindsay,
let's see
you
what.
know you've met Jalen Smith, so this is the thing, right? If I had actually interacted with Jalen Smith, I probably would have less of an edge about what I say, because you get to know the human, right? And
Yeah.
you feel, hey, I want this guy to succeed because I know he's a good guy. I don't know what kind of a man he is. I've never met him. I just know what I see on a basketball court, and that's
Mhm.
I think that's things that people may not fully understand about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I get it, but I've got a soft heart for these guys. I can't help it. I can't help it. Even if I haven't met you, I got a soft heart for you. Anyway, let's take a look at what our friends over at the DraftKings Sportsbook think about tonight's game. Care to share with us, Espo?
Yeah, I think they're a little confident in the Suns here. Suns are a 10.5 point favorite, which, you know what, I've learned not to doubt the odds
Mm-hmm.
makers. So I think we're probably in for a game that's close to this point spread. I didn't pick it. I still took Clippers in the points, but not by much. And we'll get to that here in a second. Let's throw up those picks as well and look at that. So, Lindsay, you can tell the people what you got. You can tell what you picked.
Well, I got Suns by 6. I wasn't necessarily going to go all the way with what DraftKings has and that 10.5 space, but I feel like 6 is a solid number. I don't know. I think the Clippers might have a little extra pep in their step just based off of the last game that happened between these two teams. Although I don't think they should, because that was such a weird situation, I feel like, and they're not that team currently. But who knows? Maybe they'll have a little extra pep in their step. So I got Suns by 6.
Yeah, Gerald goes Suns by 7. I go by Suns by 8. Apparently, we just one up each other. We're Price is Right rules tonight on the picks. And then our friend Saul Bookman goes with the Clippers by 100 billion. Have any idea why it's 100 billion, Lindsay?
Gosh, I mean, does it have to do with the Clippers at all, or basketball at all?
It has to
Oh
do with
wait,
the
100
Clippers,
billion. Isn't that something? No, that's a lot of money. Is that what they're valued at?
not the team.
The new arena?
Nope, that is the net worth of team owner Steve Ballmer.
Okay, I was like, because that's a lot of money. I was like, there's
$100
no way that that's
freaking
just like,
billion dollars. That's with a B. That's what
gosh.
Microsoft. That's what gets you when you're like employee number 4 at Microsoft. Apparently, you get $100 billion out of the deal. So
Could you imagine $100 billion in your bank account? Like, even if it's not all liquid, I get it. Probably majority of it isn't liquid, but still, the idea of knowing that you have access to $100 billion worth of things, that's insane.
but how could some a large chunk of that not be liquid? What are you putting $100 billion into? Like, you're not going, hey, I need a high yield CD to put a couple billion in. I really need to make that extra interest. Like, that's not what you're doing when you have that. He's just like, he could sneeze and spend $1 million and it wouldn't matter at all. Like, that's why it's shocking to me that the Clippers haven't just gone, screw the luxury tax. We're buying everybody, but so be it.
Yeah, maybe you should just give it all away, but I digress. All right. So, the hot topic of the day, of course, is the Western Conference guards race for NBA All-Star voting. So, all of the fan votes to this point were released today. And as far as the Western Conference guards race goes, Devin Booker is in 5th place and Chris Paul is right behind him in 6th place. Those who are ahead of them: number 1, Steph Curry. Number 2, Luka Doncic. Number 3, Ja Morant. And number 4, Klay Thompson.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, I know you got some thoughts on this.
What in the actual hell? Klay Thompson has not played basketball since before the pandemic. Keep that in mind. We didn't know what COVID-19 was the last time Klay Thompson stepped on an NBA court and played a game. Look at the stat breakdown. Devin Booker averaging 23.9 points a game, 5.3 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 45% from the field, 42% from 3. Klay Thompson, zeros across the board. How the hell did they even let votes for him count in this case is beyond me. And when I ranted about it on Twitter, I had Warriors fans trying to justify the fact that Klay Thompson is right now one of the top 4 guards in All-Star voting. It is asinine to me, and this is why fan voting is a giant freaking joke, and the NBA needs to move away from it.
Well, it's a popularity contest, and everyone will tell you that, and I understand it. But at the same time, I understand why the NBA does it. One, it creates conversation on social media about the league, which is great. And number 2, if it is going to be like one of the premier events where the top talent is showcased, you want your most popular guys because that means more people are going to tune in, more people are going to pay money, and more money is going to be made. So I kind of understand it from that perspective. But I agree with you. There is no situation where Klay Thompson should have more votes than Devin Booker and Chris Paul right now.
Based on this, you could vote Michael Jordan into the starting lineup as fans because you could just use his name in the hashtag, and apparently they'll count anything. Like, I don't understand why they would even put those votes in there, because this kind of conversation actually diminishes your All-Star game, makes your fans look dumb in a lot of cases. And I don't know how that's of a benefit to your sport. Like, if Klay had played like 5-10 games, at this point, and there were votes, fine. Maybe you could justify it. It's still ridiculous. But the man has not played basketball in 2 freaking years. It is such a joke.
I wonder if Klay would even want to play in the All-Star game, just because he will be coming back from injury, hopefully for them anyway. The plan is sometime this month, right? Do you think he really wants to risk it that early for an All-Star game? I don't know. What do you think?
Luckily, he won't actually get voted in because the vote is 50% the fan vote, 25% media, 25% coaches. There's no way the league would actually let him into the game as a starter like this. But the fact that they've let him be in this first ballot count just seems ridiculous to me. I don't understand it. Fabio says it's kind of disrespectful to the other Warriors players too, like Poole and Wiggins, who are having the best seasons of their career, and people voting for Klay, which I agree. Like, if you're going to support somebody on the Warriors and vote somebody potentially into the starting lineup of the All-Star game because you're voting for Steph and we want to support our guys, then yeah, vote a Wiggins. But do something
Mhm.
for a guy that's actually having an impact on, the second best team in the NBA, the
Yeah.
Golden State Warriors. Don't vote in a guy who is still injured and has not played yet into this. It really, really upsets me. And it's probably, to your point, the reason they do it, because they know it's going to upset people. But it's also
Mhm.
disrespectful to Devin Booker and Chris Paul, because they've worked their asses off on the best team in the NBA. And then this guy jumps over him for no good reason other than he plays in San Francisco.
Free Minds in the chat said, "Can Kendall Jenner give her man a shout out for more votes?" I 100% agree with you. Like, I don't know if Devin maybe asked her not to because he doesn't want to be like, have the narrative that the only reason he got in was because he's dating Kendall Jenner, like part of the Kardashian clan. But at this point, I seriously do not give a you know what. Like, that girl needs to be out there on Twitter telling her fan base to retweet a tweet, because I feel like if she just sends one tweet or maybe 3 tweets between now and the end of fan voting, that would almost double the amount of votes that Devin currently has. Like, we're trying to hold it down over here as Suns fans, but we could always use a little help, especially when you're talking about the fact that the Warriors and Luka, there's so much international fan base there, and the Suns just haven't gotten that yet. Hopefully they will get to that point, but currently as it stands, I don't think we have the largest international fan base that there is. We're probably lower on that totem pole, but homegirl needs to tweet it out. I'm with you.
By the way, MCG Blue, the Phoenix Suns are the best team in the NBA. I know that's what you were looking for, but I'm torn by that, right? Because I
Yeah,
can understand from Book's perspective going, I don't
totally.
want you to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's not let's not turn this into a bigger farce than it already is by all of a sudden me being the number one vote getter in the league because you said something to all your fans. Like, I
Yeah.
understand it, but to hell with it. Freaking do it, Kendall. Support your man. Go out there and get him voted into an all-star game that he deserves to be in. And to hell with whatever the reason you aren't doing it yet.
I mean, honestly, even if she just retweeted a couple of somebody else's tweets, I feel like that could help too. And then
Just
that might
one
be
of
a
them.
little less like, a little more low key and not feel as like forced from
Yeah.
her or her fan base. But anyway, even if she does or if she doesn't, at the end of the day, when it comes to the fan vote, it is on us. So we got to step up our game. We got to start retweeting all of the rest of the people on Suns Twitter that we see tweeting out Devin Booker and an NBA All Star hashtag. And we got to make sure that we're doing it on a consistent basis as well, because this rests on our shoulders. We're the only ones who can really make the biggest difference here. And I think Clay and Devin are like 30,000 ish votes
Yeah.
apart. So it's very doable for Devin to at least jump Clay in these standings.
Mike B says Book told her to stay out. I guarantee it. Nah, man, don't want that. Love you, my angel, but your man's got this. No
Yeah.
thanks. It's probably machismo, but to hell with it. Like, if this
Mm-hmm.
thing's gonna be such a joke, you might as well get your own, right? Like,
Yeah.
if Clay's gonna get a third of a million votes just because he plays on the Warriors, shit, use whatever's at your disposal. I mean, hell, everybody in this chat, go tweet at Kendall and say, hey, let's get our man some love here. Let's get some all-star votes for him. Whatever it
Yeah.
takes. Hell, convince other fans by saying something nice about their player and just sneaking in the Devin Book or at Devin Book and hashtag NBA All-Star, whatever it takes. Let's get him more votes.
Yeah, I agree. We have to do it, because at the end of the day, we're the fan base. So if we don't do it, the only person we can talk crap to is ourselves. So
Agreed.
there we go. All right. Well, the game is just around the corner. Espo, is there anything else that you would like to talk about before we sign off and go catch the action?
No, I think my blood pressure is probably high enough after screaming about Clay Thompson. So look, this tonight's just going to come down to the Suns playing their game. If they move the
Mhm.
ball like they have, like they did the last game, if they get the bigs involved on the pick and roll, and even if Devin has just an all right game, this should be an easy victory for the Suns. But as we know, it doesn't always it doesn't always work the way they think. By the way, you're still all 11 short on me going on a Sticks monologue after the game that's all positive. So you
Tell
ain't
your
gonna make it
people,
happen.
tell your friends, your family. You guys got to make it happen. I'm here to hear this. I
Ain't
need
gonna
your help.
happen. Ain't gonna happen. Maybe you can get Kendall to tweet it out, and she can get us well over that 2,000. So
who knows? Maybe one day. We'll see. Well, until the end of the game, you guys enjoy your evening. Enjoy the matchup. You can, as always, you can follow along with us on Twitter at PHNX_Suns. You can follow me on Twitter at Lindsey Smith AZ. You can follow Espo on Twitter at Espo. And if you need something to fill the next 4 minutes of your time, you can always head on over to phnxlocker.com and check out the amazing merch that we have available in there. If you want to look and feel better this new year, that's a great way to start. You get a great t-shirt repping your favorite Valley team. You're going to look and feel great the minute that arrives to your house. And we also have sticker packs. So sticker packs for $5, t-shirts for $29.99, phnxlocker.com. Until the end of the game, enjoy yourself. We'll see you guys later.
ahoy hoy.